Good morning, student. I am Dr. Ritika, the faculty of CSC department. As an associate professor in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, today I am going to deliver the lecture on the subject of our e-commerce, which is related to our BCA 6 SAM. And today we will cover the topic of our supply chain management. So, what is supply chain? Exactly, we will learn more about supply chain. In this slide, I will just tell you about the introduction of our supply chain management. So, what is supply chain management? First, one of that practically every product that reaches an end user presents a cumulative effort of multiple organizations. These organizations refers collectively as a supply chain. The second idea is that while supply chain have ex- existed for a long time, so most organizations have only paid attention to what was happened within their four walls. A very few organizations released about delivering goods to final consumers. So SRM, here SRM stands for supply chain management, is the active management supply chain which gives activities to maximum or maximize customer value and achieve a sustainable competitive advantages. Now, what is supply chain? Meaning of supply chain. What exactly is supply chain management? And we will learn about the supply chain management processes. In supply chain, it gives a network of organization and business processes for procuring materials, transforming raw materials into the finalized products, and distributing the fi- finished products to the customer. So next is the supply chain management. It is integrations of suppliers, distributors and customers logistics into one cohesive processes. Now supply chain management process, the information system that automated the flow information between a firm and its suppliers in order to optimize the planning, sourcing, manufacturing and delivering and product and services. Here are the CRM, SCM, that is supply chain management objectives, and supply chain management outcomes. So here I have mentioned some objectives which is related to the established policies, objectives and operations footprints. And second thing in the objective are how much, means to deploy resources to match supply with demands. Third is when and where, which includes some schedules, monitoring, control and adjust productions. And last is the do, which is related to your build and transport. So these are the objectives, what, which is based on the strategics, how much, which is based on the tacticals, when and where, which is based on the operations, and do means the way of execution. In the same pattern which is follows in supply chain management objectives, which is based on the four criteria of strategic what, tactical how much, operations when and where, and executions do. In the same SCM outcomes, in the strategic they follow some objectives which include some supply policies, service levels and their network design. Tacticals means demands forecast like production, procurements and logistic plans which are based on their inventory targets. In operational, where work, center scheduling, order or inventory tracking to be done in supply chain management outcomes. In execution, which follow order cycle or material movements. So these are the SCM objectives and SCM outcomes, which is based on the supply chain management, which follow the some strategics, some tactics operationals and execution part of our SCM. Now, here are the some objectives of SCM, like some business value goals and some customer value goals. In business value goals, they depends upon the customer value goals. But in business value goals, it includes rapid demand fulfillment, collaborative supply chain planning and executions. In customer value goals, they gives customer what they want, when and how they want it, and low at low cost. So the business value goals which fulfill the demand and gives a collaborative chain planning and execution. But in customer value goals, they give customer what they want, when and how they want it at their low cost. They also follow some other objectives like effective distribution system, enterprise coordinations of manufacturing and business processes, some effective distribution systems, and third is responsiveness and accountability to customer. So these are the objectives of our supply chain management, which is based on the business value goals as well as some customer value goals. Now upstreams, or here are the some examples related to your supply chain, which follows two methods like upstreams and downstreams. In upstreams, it is related to their suppliers, and in downstreams, it is related with manufacturer, distributor, retailers, and customers. So here is the upstream, which shows how suppliers are correlated with each other. Here is also the mention of upstream, how suppliers are related with each other. But in downstream, they show how manufacturer related with distributors, these distributors related with retailers and customers. So here are the example which show how a supply chain helpful for our upstreaming and downstreaming. Now information system and SCM. Some supply chain activities cover everything from product development, sourcing, production and logistics, as well as some information system. The organizations that make up supply chains are linked through physical flow and information flow. Some physical flow involves transformation, movements and storage of goods and materials. But in information flow, it allows various supply chain partners to coordinate their long term plans and control day to day flow of goods and materials, which can be flow in forward and backward terms. So one of the strategies which effective which is effective to your management of supply chain is just in time strategies. So just in time means the material which to be delivered or which can be forward and backward, from which flow from the day to day delivery, that should be in proper supply chain and should be in proper time, or we can say just in time. A fixed time constant to be given. On that fixed time constraint, only with the help of supply chain, that material will be forward and backward flow from their customer to their suppliers. Now next point is some uncertainties in supply chain are uncertain product demand, last shipment for suppliers, defective parts or raw materials, which deals with production process breakdowns. So one of the recurring problem is supply chain management is bullwhip effects. So this bullwhip effect is inaccurate information that can be cause minor fluctuations in demand for the product to be amplified as one moves further back to their supply chain. So minor fluctuation in retail sales for a product can create excess inventory for distributors, manufacturers and their suppliers. So these all are related to our point of information system and some supply chain managements which follow just in time effects and also follow some bullwhip effects. Now how information system facilitates on SCM. SCM information from supply chain management systems help firms first decide when and what to produce, store and move. Next, rapidly communicate others. Next, track the status of orders. Next, check inventory availability and monitor inventory levels. Next, reduce inventory, transportation and warehouse cost. Track shipments. Plan production based on actual customer demands. Gives rapidly communicate changes in product design. So these are the facilitates based on information system and related with our supply chain management. So supply chain management software deals with supply chain planning systems. In this, it enables the firm to model its existing supply chain, generate demand forecast for product and develop optical sourcing and manufacturing plans. Next, supply chain execution system which manage the flow of products through distribution centers and warehouse to ensure that products are delivered to right locations in most efficient manner. Now next point is supply chain management software vendors are SAP, Oracle PeopleSoft, Managistics, i2 Technologies. These are the vendors, supply chain management software vendors, or you can say SCM vendors. Now, each interface in the supply chain represents first. First is raw material. The raw material is related with their components. They related with their manufacturers, retailers and consumers. So the after consumers, how consumers related with their retailers, manufacturers, components and raw material. So the movement of good information flow, transfer of title, purchase and sale. The strategies of so, the strategies of supply chain management consist of developing smarter way to choose, buy from and sell to your business partner. So this diagram show how these business co-partners correlated with buyers to their sellers, where they related to their raw materials, components, manufacturers, retailers and consumers, and how consumers correlated with their buyers from retailer, manufacturer, components to their raw materials. So next is SCM addresses challenges through several areas. The supply chain management faces lots of challenge related to the different areas, and these areas are logistics, supply chain strategies, supply chain plannings, supply chain enterprise applications, assets management, procurements, product lifecycle management. So these are the different areas where supply chain management addresses some challenges. Now global supply chain and internet. So internet is used by firm to improve coordination among their internal supply chain processes, and they use extranet to coordinate among business partners and customers. So here are the use of internet in supply chain management. So intranet, how intranet deals with different customers, suppliers, logistic services, distributors, retailers, and how they perform some following operations with the help of internet, or we can say use of internet, like order processing, planning and scheduling, procurements, productions, shipping and inventory. So internet is helpful from buyer to seller, also follow some methods and uses by which they are interacting with each other. Now demands driven supply chains. Push versus pull based supply chain models are push models suppliers where suppliers you can say how supply related with their manufacturers, manufacture related to their distributors, retailers and customers. So supply to forecast, which is based on production based on forecast, some inventory based on forecast, some stock based on forecast, and purchase what is available, which is the part of our push model. Now in pull model, it is related to backward, where the customer related with their customer orders related to their retailers, which is automatically replenished stocks, and retailers are related with distributors where automatically replenish warehouse. These distributors related with their manufacturers, which is used to produce to order, and how suppliers related to their supply to order. So these are the methods which is based on the supply chain models, which follow two concepts like push model and their pull model. In the basic concept is in push model, the the way of supply chain from supplier to customer, and in pull order the way of supply chain moves from customer to suppliers. Now here are some future internet driven supply chain operates like a digital nervous system. So it is worked as a nervous system which is related to our human being, how nervous system, how nerves are correlated with our brain and how they coordinate with each and every part of our body. So same thing, how supply chain operates overall digital work on the basis of digital network system. So here you can easily understand distributors, or we will can start with contract manufacturers, which is related to your private industry network, net marketplaces, some logistic exchange, how they related with logistic providers, which is correlated with contract manufacturers, and logistic related to their customer, and here virtual manufacturer related to their contract managers, some private industries and logistic exchange, same suppliers related with private industries, manufacturers related to their private industries, logistics and other logistic exchange, also you can say related with contract manufacturers, and customer related to their retailer and how retailer interact with distributors same interact with manufacturer, supplier, virtual manufacturer, logistics and customers. So this is the way how which a supply chain management operates all the functions like human nervous systems. So students, it is all over about the introduction part of our supply chain management. So students, thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you students.